Hello and welcome to the Organic Beehive channel. In today's video, I am going to be doing a nightstand makeover. And more specifically, I'm going to show you the step-by-step process on how I stripped my furniture of a wood stain that I just didn't like the finish of. So if you are interested, then keep watching. Okay, so I don't know what came over me, but something did, and I decided on a whim to redo a piece of furniture. I think I looked at my husband that weekend and I said, I don't know why, but I just feel like, I don't know, zhuzhing something up in the home. I didn't care what it was, and I had some ideas just going around in my head, and I thought that the, I don't know, least risk of doing something was the nightstand. Honestly, they were $10 for the pair. I got 2 nightstands for $10 at a garage sale, and I don't know, I guess I just thought that there wasn't much risk in trying, because honestly I've never done a furniture flip before. I've never stripped wood. I've painted things before, but I don't know, it was just a new adventure for me, and I watched videos and decided I can do this. It's not that bad. It's not that bad, it really isn't. But why I decided to do it in the middle of summer down south, it was like 90, probably in the mid 90s. I was in my garage, which there was ventilation, but there was like no airflow. I didn't feel any sort of relief. So I don't know. I guess I want to preface this whole video by saying, don't compare yourself to whatever I decide to show you on video or my blog or whatever. Please don't compare yourself. I know that I will watch other YouTube videos and think, well, they're a mom. They've got more kids than I do. They're doing, you know, this furniture makeover. Why can't I? The reason I was able to do this makeover was because that I wasn't homeschooling. This was over the summer. We took a couple months off, and so I didn't have my attention and my time going toward homeschool. So that's one reason why I was able to do this. Not to mention, there are kids around the neighborhood that are my daughter's age, and she happily, willingly wants to play with them all day. So with her playing, I had a little extra time to be able to do a project like this. Had it been in the middle of the school year, during the holidays, I don't know, had I not had like the perfect storm to do something like that, I wouldn't have done it. I mean, after all, it took me 2 years to finally get the nerve and do something like this. So please, as you go into watching this video, don't fall into that comparison trap. If you've got 3 kids under 3, don't attempt this. Like, please, I just don't want you to feel inadequate watching a DIY video from another mom. I felt it important to put that out there, but now I'm rambling. So without further ado, here is my nightstand makeover. Here is the nightstand that I decided to redo. I've actually had it for a couple years and just now got the nerve to actually go for it. It's a garage sale find, which I prefer getting used furniture and little knickknacks like that because I think it just adds a little more character to the home. And
I find that they are, or they can be better quality pieces. But the really fun thing about this find was that when I opened the drawer, I found an old letter dated back to 1979 from the original owner. It also came with this sliding door, which I don't mind it, but in the end, I actually did decide to take it out. And ultimately, the first reason I wanted to take it off was because I just wanted to make sure stripping it and all of that would actually work, because this was the first time I had ever done a furniture flip. So that is why I initially took it off, just to test it out. But in the end, I decided to do away with it. And then as you can see here, just before you start, any project really, whether it comes to painting or staining, I took off all of the hardware. And I like to place the hardware in a Ziploc bag just so I make sure not to lose any of those little pieces. Now, I did watch a few tutorials on how to strip your furniture, and I saw one of the things they recommended was to sand the furniture first. So that's what I'm doing here. It supposedly helps your citrus strip or whatever gel you're using just to adhere to it better. But honestly, I did both sanding, and then there were times I forgot to sand, and I still got the same result. So I guess my suggestion for you would be, if you were to do this and you were having a really hard time trying to strip away all of the stain, then this extra step could possibly help. When I wasn't using my paintbrush, I made sure to wrap it in a plastic bag to keep it from drying. Another thing I should mention is that as I was applying the gel, I didn't want to touch the gel, and so I made sure to wear some protective gloves. And as you can see here, I'm just putting a generous amount of that gel on top of my nightstand and spreading it around with a paintbrush. You don't want to use the paintbrush too much, because the more you brush, the thinner the gel will be, and you don't want that. You want to, again, give a generous amount to the top layer, because that is obviously what's going to be helping you strip the stain off. And just make sure that you get every nook and cranny on your piece of furniture. Even though you see me adding plastic wrap on the piece after putting the gel on, I didn't actually continue to do this. It took way too long, and I didn't want the waste. I felt putting the gel on and waiting 15 to 30 minutes was suffice enough for my piece. But if you're having extra trouble with your piece, you might want to keep the citrus strip on longer. And the way to do that is to add the plastic wrap, because it will keep it wet. And of course, the longer you let it sit, the better it is at removing the stain. So leave it up to your discretion, but I did not do this in the end. I removed the plastic wrap. If you decide not to go this route, obviously you don't have to do this part. You can go straight to the scraping. The only thing I suggest is to not wait for the citrus strip to dry. So I would say anywhere between 15 or 30 minutes. And then as you can see, I am using a plastic scraper. I was a little nervous because I was afraid I was going to ruin the wood piece, but in the end, I didn't like the plastic scraper. It was a little too flimsy for me. I did much better with a metal scraper, and I was okay taking that risk because I do like that older look with a little bit of more character. So if I did get a scratch, I wasn't going to be too sad about it, and I can't really be sad when I got both of these nightstands for $10. After you're done scraping, I just like to add a little bit of mineral spirits to a rag and kind of just clean up the scraps and the remainder, what's left behind, and give it a good scrub. I did 2 phases of this. I stripped it, scraped it off, stripped it, scraped it off again, but I really didn't see a difference between doing it twice and once. But if you have a furniture that's being a little extra stubborn, you may need to do it a few times. I found this multi-pack of sanders at Home Depot for my electric sander, and I used the 220 grit to start off with. I wore out that sandpaper pretty quickly, but I was able to take it off the sander, wrap it around a pencil, and now I can use that to get into the grooves that I couldn't do with the electric sander. Then I went in with my 150 grit sandpaper and did the same process all over. And last, you want to end with the 80 grit sandpaper. This is going to make your piece of furniture nice and smooth. Your project should be coming all together now. This is the fun part where you get to pick your finish. So I just used what I had on hand, and I wanted to go with, I just really like the raw wood look, and so that's what I was going for. But I also wanted to protect it You know, I know people who just leave it raw, but I did want to protect it, you know, because kids in the house, you never know. You want it easy to clean and all of that. So I didn't realize till after I finished this that it was actually a gloss, and I would have preferred not to do that. Luckily, I only chose to do one coat, and I really like how it turned out, and it didn't end up glossy at all. Had I maybe applied a couple coats, it probably would have shown. Once you're finished applying the stain, as you can see here, I just used a paper towel and just wipe off the excess. I decided to go with new hardware. I just found this at Home Depot, and it gave it a more updated look. And here is the finished look in all of its glory. I apologize for the lighting here. It does make it look, I guess, a little more orange than it is in person, but I absolutely love it. That sealer I put on it at the end just really brought out the wood grain, and I am just so in love.
All right, so what did you think? I'm not sure if I'm going to keep the hardware. I found it at Home Depot and it worked for now, but I think I want something that looks a little bit more aged, I guess, and antique-y, and I'm not sure that really gives that vibe. So I'm gonna probably keep my eye out for different hardware, but for now, I really, really love how it looks. I'd like to add a basket in one of those cubbies there and even decorate the nightstand. Right now it just has a bouquet of flowers. But I really loved how it turned out, and if you are looking for inspiration, I hope that it helped. Thanks so much for watching. If you are new here, I create videos on everything home, whether it's doing something homemade, homeschooling, homemaking, homesteading. Those are the types of videos that I like to put out there and help you with. So if you are interested, make sure you do subscribe so you get notified whenever new videos come out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.